Hello, everyone. Um, so thank you all for being in attendance for the last class. So I'm going to quickly run us through this activity. It is not difficult to understand. If you have any issues, feel free to reach out. And also, I recommend that you watch it at least twice to understand fully well. And also, don't just watch it, but practice the prompts samples so that you can have an idea of how it works. Right? It's better that you understand how it works than just to try to memorize the command. If you have an idea of how it works, you can tweak it to your taste, right? So I'm going to start from the beginning so that we can have a better context, we have better understanding of what it is. We're going to cover evolution of AI agents, three prompt techniques for reasoning LLM, using AI to brainstorm, and of course, alternative prompting for everyday use. So it's very basic, but then you also have to be able to understand and gain perspective. Um, the first is that I will not talk about the module itself, which is the large language model. I'll talk about that one. It's a little bit technical, but just know that it's a trained machine learning engine or machine learning algorithm, right? So there's what they call the small context window LLMs. That is where it all began. So what the small context window LLMs can do is that it can take input in the form of a text, right? And then it can also generate text output. That's generate an output which is also in form of a text. So there are three components to this. For those who are in the previous class, they will understand. The first component is that there's an input side, and then the second component is that there is the model, the algorithm that does this, that understand the text, then give a response, which is the output. This is the third component. So for the small context window LLM, they can only take small input text and then give an output text in response. So this takes us to the next one here. So it grow from such basic approach, it grow from such basic architecture, right, into something more advanced. So basically, we now have the large context window. Now it can take a huge amount of text, right, and then generate an output. Before, it can only take a couple of sentence or a sentence or a couple of sentence. But now for the large context window, it can take more text, but it's still following the simple architecture of input, the module, and then output. So they grew from there into the third one, where it now involves tool usage. What this simply means is that it's using a RAG. What RAG means is retrieval, um, retrieval augmented generation. The augmentation takes place in this tool side. That's where augmentation takes place. So what this simply means is that you have this component, which is the input, where you enter your text. You have the large language model, right? The model here. And then this model is able to now work based on some certain context. So it's not just bringing answers based on what the model thinks, but it's bringing answer that is narrowed down to a particular domain um or field, right? So that is where the retrieval and generation comes from. So meaning that for instance, you can have a document on maybe how to cook food, right? Or maybe how to cook African dishes. And then when you are now asking this system, how do I cook jollof rice, right? When you now enter here, how do I cook jollof rice? What this will not just run and go and generate how to cook jollof rice for you. So it's going to come to this tool. It's going to use this tool to streamline it to how to cook jollof rice based on African dishes, right? And then generate an output based on that. So meaning that your query comes into this LLM, this LLM or large language model comes into here to try to give it a context, and then from there it generates an output that comes here as a text. So yeah, that will be it for that one. And then we'll go to the next one, which is uh yeah, the next version of the AI agents. So we now get to the stage of having multimodal input. What multimodal means is that you can have different types of file formats. Initially, we are looking at text. Now we are now saying text, audio, video, pictures. The model will accept them. And also the second thing with this is that this now has a memory. So when you feed in a video or you feed in a picture and you are telling it to analyze the picture, and then you are saying it's going to use the RAG to try to narrow down. For instance, you gave it a picture on maybe an eye cancer. You are giving the large language model to analyze eye cancer, and then you have this document that contains description of various kind of cancers, right? So when you give it the image of an eye cancer, it's going to use this retrieval and generation to focus on the cancer aspect. It's not going to be talking about eye in this, eye in that. No, it's going to narrow down to cancers, and then it's going to pick response based on the description of eye cancer that it has, the document, the record on eye cancer that it has, and then generate a response. But do not forget that it will also save your response in the memory. So you can always make reference to the stored response, right? And then you have this output. Now, it's not the memory is not only going to store the response for future reference, but you can also use that response to refine this model, to refine it during retraining. Then the other one here is the fact that we have the improved one, which is the agent with reasoning and memory, right? In this case, we now have this memory now has this memory is one of the major things that happened. Another one is the decision making, right? So when it's bringing the output, you not just get the output now, but there will be a decision making. The decision making is simply to check, is this good? If it is not, it will go back to the module and then refine it and then send it out again. Is it good? Right? So meaning that the user is now given the opportunity to say, okay, the answer you gave to me, I like it. If you check most large language model, including ChatGPT, you see that every time it gives you a response, it will ask you a question. If you are okay with the answer, if you think it should go further to, perform more actions. So decisions were introduced. And then for the memory, we now have the short-term memory, we have the long-term memory, we have the episodic memory. The short-term memory is uh, just for a temporary time, right? It quickly it will be deleted, right? And then we'll have the long-term memory. For instance, if you also make reference to ChatGPT, if you're using it for free, they will give you access to the short-term memory. So everything you do, every query you write and then get response is for a month. It will be stored for a month and then it will be wiped away. Or if you go for the paid version, they can increase the period for you. That's where the long-term memory comes in. Then the episodic memory. This one now we're talking about storing queries based on event. You are not just storing everything that you query, you are storing particularly based on uh unique event that took place or the unique nature of the project you are working on, right? So that's the episodic memory. So just to give you an idea of what this is all about and where we are currently in terms of using AI tools or AI agent. So let's go on to another. Yeah, here we're going to talk about the three prompting techniques for reasoning LLM. So we have the first one is called the majority voting. Okay, over COT. Majority voting simply says what it simply means is that you are the user, you write a query, right? You write a query. Now, this query has to go through steps. Remember what we've talked about: input, the module, then the RAG, which is retrieval and augmented generation. We talked about storing in memory. We talked about decision making. All that will be inside this reasoning LLM, right? All that will be captured in this reasoning LLM. We have the output. So what the majority voting is doing is that you have different LLMs now. Okay, you have different LLMs, and the first one, which is here, you send your query to it. You have the second one, which is also here, you send your query to it. Then you have the third one, which is also here, you send your query to it. Okay. Now, for each of these ones you send your queries to, you get a response. Now, the ones, there is tendency that you have similar response, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what the voting means. So the ones that have similar response, you pick those ones as the output, and the one that has a different response, you ignore that one. Okay. Now, someone asked a question during the last session. He said, what if what if all the three gives you different responses? No, there's what is called confidence interval. So, for instance, if the response from here gives a score of, let's say, no, let's begin by setting the interval, the confidence interval. So let's say the confidence interval is between 80% and 100%, right? We do this 80% and 100%, right? 100%. So you also come here for the second one. For all three, there will be 80% to 100%. Now the output one gave you 85% score. That is the response. It's 85, has 65% score or confidence. Then this one gave you 80. And then this one gave you 50, right? So this is percentage level of their correctness. So what you are going to do is that, remember you set a standard range of 80 to 100. So you are going to work with the one of output one and output two, because they both fall into 80 and 100. So you ignore that of three. All right. So that's pretty it for that one. That's pretty it for that one. So we'll quickly look at another one. Here we have the tree of thought. What the tree of thought is simply saying is that instead of you chaining the large language models in parallel, you chain them in series, but then you send in your query in such a way that one model, but you tweak your query in three different ways. Looking at this architecture we have here, so you refine your query, or you tweak your query in three different ways, and then you pick the best response, and that response you use it to forge your next query, and that query you forge it in three different ways again, and then you pick the best one, which is part one, and then you do that. So everything is in series, but the query is tweaked in parallel in three different ways or more. It can be 5, it can be 10, and then till you get the final output, right? So now this is dependent on the query, not on the module itself, like that. So this is more of like a series approach, while this one is the majority voting is more of a parallel approach. But majority voting is not dependent on query, but rather it is dependent on modules. Then the tree of thought is dependent on query, not really dependent on modules, even though the modules we are still depending on the output of the modules, right? But primarily depend on queries. So we go to the next one. The next one is the chain of thought. This is the most simplest one. This is the most simplest one. What this one is simply saying, what chain of thought is simply saying, is that you have your query, you feed it into an LLM, and then you get your output. This is the most simplest one. From this chain of thought, majority voting was formed. From this chain of thought, tree of thought was also forged. Okay. So, yeah, that will be it for these ones. No need to, confuse you that much. So we quickly come into something which is using AI to brainstorm. Okay. Uh, Primarily, anytime we talk about brainstorming, we have three approaches. The first one is the five whys. The second one is the six thinking hats. The third one is the mind mapping. These are the three fundamental ways that or three fundamental frameworks that is used to handle the the thinking framework or the brainstorming framework, right? That is used to handle or solving problems. That is used to solving problems. So the first one is the five whys. And we're going to look at how we can do that. So we use a template. We have a template here. The template says use the brainstorming framework to brainstorm the following topic. So we can choose any topic of our choice. For instance, I can choose an apple. So I can use five whys. So we now said um use the five whys to brainstorm the following topic. Apple is just a word, right? But we can also make a sentence out of it. But since we have agreed to use an apple, let's go ahead and use an apple so that you see, just to get this right. So I'm on chatgpt.com, all right? So here, uh, so the first one is going to be the five whys. We're using the five whys to brainstorm the following topic. Remember, I said apple. So we are going to say apple. Okay. So use the five whys to brainstorm the topic apple. It's as simple as that. And then you turn enter. Then you wait for your response. So the five whys is used for, it's a method, a root cause analysis technique, right? So here is how it will be approached. The first why is, why do people eat apples? The second why is, why are they considered healthy? The third why is having why is having those why is having those nutrients important, right? Why is having those nutrients in apple important? Now this is where you now have to refine the response, right? For instance, you say, why do people eat apples? Second one is, why are they considered healthy? Why are apples considered healthy? The third one is, why is having those nutrients important? Which you can correct by yourself and said, why is having those nutrients in apple important? Why do people care about maintaining good health? Then why do people value a long quality life? So at the end of the day, you end up at the root. So people eat apples ultimately because they represent simple, accessible way to support meaningful and healthy life. There's always a root. And that's why I'm taking you to this place. You can see this diagram here. This diagram is showing us the why, and then the root cause. So it's always going to take you back to the root cause. The other one we can also look at is the six thinking hat. Maybe this, okay, let me see. Let me frame a topic. Let's say the topic is, okay, let me see. How to sell my product faster. Yeah, there's someone selling MiFi. So let me use her MiFi as an example. So here I can't edit because I'm using I refuse not to, I think it's because I refuse not to log in. That's why I can't edit. So just going to put this, the five whys to brainstorm the following topic. This topic is what why how to sell my MiFi. How to Oh, I'm still using five why instead of the thinking heart, I think. Yeah, six thinking heart. Cis thinking heart. Cis thinking heart. That's the brainstorming framework. How to sell my Airtel 5G um router faster, or how to quickly. Let me see how to. Okay, let me just do this. How to sell fast 5G, because the word fast, it can be misunderstood, right? Since it's an internet device, fast it can be fast network. So let me not go and confuse it. I'm just trying to see how can I quickly sell the device, right? Using the six thinking heart. So it's going to start the white hat, facts and information, focus on data, facts, and what is known. So what is the model, current price of the 5G? Is it new, used, under warranty? What are the competitors charging? What platform are most effective? You see, what is the target audience? What's the current demand for 5G? Then the red hat, focus on emotion, gut reaction. People want to feel they are getting a good deal or trust sale. Buyers may feel fear scam, a sense of urgency. You might feel frustrated to sell quickly. Black heart, focus on potential problems and risk. Yellow heart, focus on positives and opportunities. Green heart, focus on creative and alternative approach. Blue heart, focus on managing and thinking and creating an action plan. So you can see that it makes it very easy for you to improve your marketing skill when you are approaching people. By the time you improve your marketing skill, you see that you get more sale. So we can see the thinking heart here on the on this side. So you see the blue heart, control of thinking, white heart, neutral thinking, black heart, critical thinking, red heart, emotion and feelings, yellow, positive thinking, green, creative thinking. So with this approach, you can properly forge your marketing skill to even to individual and even to a group of people through social media, right? So we'll go into the next one. You can also play with the mind mapping on your own, right? So going to the next one. The next one is using the technique called different perspective. So in this case, you're saying this method forces AI to approach topic from different angles. Like you have different domain experts, sales expert, marketing expert, product expert, and you can use this what's it called? This template below. We are in brainstorming session with expert this, expert that, expert that. Each expert should come up with 10 ideas to for POV, which is a point of view on the following topic. So you put your topic here. So in this case, and it's not just synonymous to sales expert, marketing expert, and product expert. Like the last example I gave, you can also talk about doctor, nurse, and midwife, right? And in that example, I was talking about fever, right? I was talking about fever, the implication of fever. So we come here and then we say we are in brainstorming session with, so the expert A now is what? A doctor. The expert B is a nurse. The expert C is a midwife, right? It's a midwife. We'll have a midwife. And then each expert should come up with 10 ideas for proof point of view on the following topic. Uh, mitigating fever. Mitigating fever. And remember that I told you that for the fact that you have a midwife here, the response is also going to capture the perspective of pregnant women, right? So we'll see. And when we run this, you begin to see that. So identify the cause, not just the symptom. Use evidence. This is doctor's point of view. Monitor for danger sign. Tailor approach to age group. Promote hydration. Avoid unnecessary antibiotic. educate patient, integrate lab diagnostics, use cooling measures judiciously. Then nurses, for nurses perspective, regular temperature charting, observe associated symptoms, encourage fluid intake, uh, and so on and so forth. If you now come to the midwife, you see, it's now start talking about mothers, right? Talking about you know, what's it called? Uh, yeah. So basically, it's going to, channel it on towards pregnant women. You can also see it's talking about, promoting breastfeeding and so on and so forth. It is that easy. All right. So you can also use this approach for your business. If you have a business that have at least 5 or 10 employers, with where you have people who have expert in a particular area, you can use this approach to also, brainstorm around your business on how to improve it for the coming year. And we'll also talk about the opposite days. Opposite days in this case, opposite days is simply talking about you writing a prompt first to understand, to brainstorm uh, how to make your customer happier, but not starting with how to make your customer happier, starting with how to, to satisfy them, right? And then getting and then flipping it around to get the response. There are also situations where it may not even be about customers. It can also be about maybe health challenges or, or for instance, students, right? Student coming to your school, how they can have, how you can, satisfy them that their scores will reduce. Then you now flip query around to now tell you how you can improve them and get their scores. So for instance, here is a give me 20 ways how I would make my customers more dissatisfied with my product or service. Then for every point, provide the exact opposite approach. Exact opposite approach. So let me say, let's use this template to see. So here you have this. It said give me 20 ways. So let's reduce this. We don't have that time. 20 ways, let's say 5 ways. I'll make my customer more dissatisfied with my um product, with my let me say I'm offering a my counseling service, counseling service, right? And I think this should be one. Yeah, counseling service. Come on now. Yeah, this should be, and then for every point, provide the exact opposite approach. Okay. You can see that I'm sensitive to some of those characters. I'm deleting them, removing them, like this one here. I removed it. Yeah, because it's expensive. OpenAI is paying for it. ChatGPT is paying for it. So there's no point in having things that you don't need and then you kept them there. So, like for instance, the founder was complaining at one point in time that people should stop using please, thank you, that all these things they cost is each one is a token. It costs money. Then you are typing it there. So Um, and so we have, yeah. So it's a being unavailable or unresponsive. It's a bad practice as a counselor. I'm offering a counseling service now. So the best thing to do is to be reliable and accessible. So confirm appointment, respond promptly. The other one is show little empathy or interest. It's a bad practice. So the opposite, active empathy. Then the other one is give generic one size fits all advice. Is bad. Instead, be specific. Personalize your response. Context specific support. Break confidentiality or boundaries. The share personal client details, right? So maintain strict confidentiality and ethical professionalism. Ignore feedback or progress. Now, this is how this works out, right? For the sorry, I'm trying to drag this up. Why is it not explained? So you can see this is a summary table. Make clients dissatisfied by, you have them here. This is the negative one, positive. Instead, increase satisfaction by practicing the ones on the right. So basically, this is all there is to it. It's this simple. And you can apply it to your business and you will see changes. You can even apply it to your boss, right? So the other one is the opposite days. And what this one is talking about is that, okay, I think we are still, yeah, it's the same thing we are still talking about. So we've talked about opposite days, and then we now talk about them step by step. There's the step by step approach. In this one, remember that we talked about an architecture earlier. Let me see. What slide am I on? Slide 12. So remember on our architecture here, you can see step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah, we can actually follow steps in reasoning like that. So, and for this one, we first creative, okay, we've not got in here. Yeah, these steps. So for this one, we have these steps, right? So let's say you are brainstorming business ideas. So industry, you look at the industry, you look at several industries to pick out a particular industry. Then you check the challenges in that industry that you picked. Then you identify the pinpoints. All this is based on the query you're sending to the large language model. You identify the solution for these pinpoints, and then you generate business idea from there. So for instance, you have a list 10 industry that are ripe for disruption, right? Yeah, I'll not say list 10, I'll just say list 3. Okay, you start with this is what, and then you follow through the steps. It's not that you be, entering a random, what's it called? You'll be entering random post, right? So here you said 3 industries that are ripe for disruption, and you hit enter. So number 1 is a healthcare, right? Number 1 is a healthcare, and the other one is agriculture, and then the other one is real estate. All 3 are ripe for disruption. Now you go back to what you're doing. You say list 3 challenges. Maybe let me pick healthcare, right? So you pick one industry. You pick one industry, and then you come and then you said, okay, for this uh industry that I will pick, I say healthcare. So I'm going to list 3. Ideally, I'll use a list 3 top challenges, okay? So that you can be specific enough. 3 top challenges. You see, access and affordability. Healthcare remains expensive and unevenly distributed, right? So insurance system and hospital pricing often lack transparency, creating financial stress for patients. This one, Nigerians understand it very well. I don't need to explain anything. Don't let anybody shoot you with a gun or use cutlass to cut you somewhere. You will pay first before they attend to you. Secondly, you bring police report to explain why you have been shot. I hope you will not die before. In fact, it will not happen to you. So the other one is administrative inefficiency and data fragmentation. It's still a bottleneck. They don't have proper paperwork. I can tell you that most hospitals in Nigeria still don't have a digital way of keeping records. And those that even have the digital way of keeping record, the records are isolated from each other. Like one hospital is different from another hospital. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a way that all the records can be harmonized, such that if I go to hospital A, when I go to hospital B will be able to continue with my treatment using the record I have obtained, using my record from the previous hospitals. I don't need to start a new record with them. Then chronic disease and preventive care. So conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease drive most care spending. This is actually an area even me I'm interested in, right? So talking about diabetes, hypertension, heart diseases, all these are very strange chronic diseases. And then is still a key issue, right? So the other one, shifting from reactive to proactive healthcare, right? That's what makes it very important. These people, they are forcing me to sign up. They will not allow me read everything. What's their problem? So yeah, this is basically it about that, right? I hope you get this approach. So you are supposed to list them out, what you intend to list out your templates, right? Create your template step by step till you get to the final stage. You center it around this 5 point. You identify the industry, you get the industry challenge, you identify the pain point, and then what are these possible solutions. From there, you craft out a business idea. So I'm waiting to come to some of you company in the future using this. Then the next one is creative voice. You have to, engage creative voice, like extremely unique, daringly different, never before seen. All these are creative, and then, specific word that you can inject into your query to make your query very unique. So for instance, give me 10 word ideas about this topic, right? So, uh, this one, let me see. Yeah, you pick any of these, like give me 10 extremely unique ideas about this topic. So for instance, let me say I want to work on this, and then I decide to, let me just make one example here. This is very straightforward. There's no need to talk too much about it. So, we do this, and then the topic is on, let's say the topic is on chronic health. Chronic health, right? And then I say, give me 10 or give me three. Then you now put the just let's look at it, the extremely unique. That is this creative word. We are using extremely unique, right? So extremely unique ideas about chronic health. All right. So once you do that, you hit enter. So you will now start saying that see digital twin coaching, AI companion that learns your body, right? And what's the next one? These are ideas. So why is it unique? Instead of generic advice, it is hyper-personalized simulation-driven medicine, turning preventive care into a living feedback loop. Emotional biomarkers, right? Using mood data to predict chronic flare-ups, right? Especially all those people that say that's what they used to call this thing. Then okay. I'm trying to mood swing. Thank you very much. Mood swing. Thank you. See, all those of you that have mood swing issue, emotional biomarkers, anybody that can build this product, it will help many of you. The moment you do your mood swing and you want to go and break the TV, it will alert everybody in the house that your head is now touching, is sparking. They should hold you. So is very important. Then we have community as a therapy network. Yeah, PM microclinics powered by local AI, right? So that one of the things we do in this our current world is that we want to live separately from each other. We want to be isolated, glued to our screen. We don't want to talk to anybody. But that is not how we were built. We were built to associate with each other, to commune with each other. I understand that the world, there's so many crazy people out there. Some people love noise, some people love quietness. So everyone have different um taste, right? They have what they love separately. So, but then how God created us is that we should bond together, we should come together. This idea of depression, headache would have really not got into the stage where it was this idea of mental health. If we live together as a community, where we eat together, one person cooks for the entire community. Some other times, some persons are coming, they buy drink. In fact, the way I grew up, if you mess up, you don't even need to report to your mother. That person from your community that saw you misbehaving on the road will beat you before message even gets to your mother or your parent. That was the environment me I grew up in. But now, before you even say, stop doing that, you see the mother wear wrapper and come and stand at the federal highway and be telling you, who are you to talk to my child? That's the current world we are now living in. So community as a therapy is very important. And we can also build a solution on that, right? An AI-driven insight with social reinforcement, right? So I think I'll dig deep on this later on after this session. I'll dig deep on this. So we'll have the first principle approach. We'll look at the next one, which is the first principle approach. This one is saying it involves breaking down complex problem into basic. This one, Elon Musk is a master of this one. He has used this so many times. First principle is actually from physics and it's also applicable in maths. So what basically it means is that you take a complex problem, break it down to the most simplest format. So you can, a template here that use first principle thinking, brainstorm the following idea. All right. So we can use first principle thinking to brainstorm. Remember, we are talking about chronic health just now, and we just saw a project that is called, let me go there. Yeah, we saw a project called AI driven this thing. So we can use first brainstorm on the following topic. What is the topic? We call it AI AI community as a therapy network. So this is our topic. We can copy this one and put it back. Right? Can put it here and then hit enter. And then there you go. So it's going to use first principle thinking now to help us break down that particular topic of interest. So traditional healthcare system are reactive, offer limited time, don't provide daily emotional support, are expensive. So then we move to break the idea into first principle. Uh, Human need, support, belonging, accountability, health, dynamic, therapeutic leverage, technology, infrastructure, so on and so forth. So rebuild from the ground up. Then we now go back after breaking it down to the most simplest form. We'll now go back and start rebuilding afresh, right? How we can build our tech solution around that. Okay. So it is very I mean, I don't want us to go through this, right, in order to save time, but it's very interesting. So the entire idea of first principle is to break it down and then start afresh and then build it up from there. It's just like when you want to build a house, you break down the entire idea down to the foundation and then you now start clearing the land, laying the foundation, and then building the house again. So that's that for that one. And uh so we'll soon round up. Then the other one is we now every time we want to get the best out of from our AI from our prompt engineering, right? Or from our AI solution. The first thing is context. Always ensure that you give it a context. What this means is that, for instance, you are saying you are an expert doctor. So when the AI want to give you a response now, it will give you a response from a doctor's perspective. Not 100% correct, but going to be very highly correct. So always give it a context. You are a salesperson, you are a marketer, or you are a health advocate. What will you do in something like this? Or suggest 10 ways this can be done. So you give it context, you give it perspective, right? That is one. The second one we are looking at is expectation. In your query, always make sure that there is an expectation. Without an expectation, the AI will randomly bring out things for you. So you have to give it an expectation. For instance, remember, list the top 3 issues. We've been using this since the class began. We've used it like list the top 3 this, list 10 top that. So always have an expectation inside it. Don't just say list the issues. No, list the top 3. That top there is important. It's going to look at it's going to give it ranking. And then 3, it's going to give it the quantity, right? So always give it perspective. give it expectation. Then the goal are very important. Summarize this customer feedback for an example. So it already the AI will be able to, craft your response based on your expectation now, right? So because you have a goal. If you don't give it a goal, it will just randomly be churning out things. It can churn out 3 page, 5 pages just for you. But you have to learn to have goals. And the other one, the source. This one, we are going to make use of it today. I'm going to show you how you can craft cover letters, right? So the source is important. Always, attach, like here you say use the attach report. I'm going to use it for your resume. So using the attached resume, craft the cover letter for the following job description. Right, we're going to do that. And then, yeah, that brings us to the final section of this. So we can use it to review our resume. We can use it to write a cover letter. We can use it to analyze our data. But before we look at the cover letter, let's first look at data analysis. Remember that we had a chart the other time that we plotted. So I'm going to show, let me see. I thought I saved the PDF. Where is it? There was a PDF of the chart we plotted. Oh, okay. It's not here. Maybe I deleted it or something. Maybe I deleted it. Thought I had it. So the only reason for that is just to, because I won't be able to wait for this thing to finish. Okay, I know what I will do. I know what I'll do. So let me just open a PDF. I'm going to open a PDF and then hopefully I can find that analysis that we did, right? So let me see, personal info. Let me not use personal info draft. Okay, let me use this one. So we are almost rounding up. Almost rounding up. So let me see if I can. Oh, this is my friend and my financial advisor. So get to know her. Her name is Onyeka Okonko. So, uh, so we can open. Let's see. Um, let's see. Let's see. I don't know why it's so slow. I don't know if it's open. I should open. No, there is this one that used to show recent. Recent. Like, oh, is it not here? It should be here. Yeah, open recent files. So can we have view or recent? Okay. Let me see. This, I don't think there's even room to search. So I'm trying to open the design we did the last time. There was this one that was this. Just give me a second. October 25. Come on now. Our analysis that got open the other time. Where is it? We plotted the chart. Let me see this publicado. Oh, okay. I couldn't find it. But what I will do, I know what I will do. Let me just, one thing I wanted you to do is that there is also, you can attach your analysis and then tell it to summarize it for you, right? But let me just look for a chart. Uh, let me say financial chart, right? the chart. See this. Okay. Let me see if I can download the image. I can actually copy it, but let me see. Save image. Yeah, as a page. From sure. Let's go. That'll be it. So we'll save it. So the essence of this, oh, come on. So the essence of this is that you can now come here, you attach your analysis. If your analysis is confusing you, right, you can come here and attach it and tell it to summarize the 5 insights it sees, or summarize. Okay, they should allow me now. I think I should have access to. Why are they acting like this thing? So let me see. I'm unable to upload. Okay, I think I've exhausted my ability to upload image. But here is what you need to know. You click on images, and then you can attach the analysis that you have. Like the dashboard you build, you can just screenshot it, save it as an image, or you can just screenshot it, copy it, and then paste it, and then tell it to summarize it. Summarize this analysis, and share 5 insights. I can tell you to do this. Summarize this analysis and share. Summarize the attached analysis. The attached analysis and share 5 insights. You can use this prompt, and then what you see is that it will do that for you easily. Okay, that is for yeah, the data analysis part, right? So you can use this prompt here. It will go. I'm going to share this slide with you guys so you don't have issue. So you can also tell it to write a cover letter by, before you write the cover letter, you say use the attached resume. So meaning that you have to attach your resume, right? And write a cover letter for the job description below. So in this case, you paste the job description. Okay, you paste the job description, and then you attach your resume, and then it will draft out the cover letter. I tell you, read through the cover letter, and then ensure that the cover letter is in the right state it should be. Okay, don't just copy and paste. It's wrong. And you can also tell it to, review the resume, right? You can ask it to review your resume. Review your resume. There are so many templates for reviewing resume, actually, more standardized way, but this one is the one I just crafted from my head. So, but one of the easy way is that you should review your resume based on what, based okay, review my resume, or review attached resume rather. Review attached resume based on the, let's say, city of London, and give a honest criticism, and give you can say top 5 honest criticism. That's it. And then you can also tell it to suggest improvement, suggest improvement. So what you're basically, you don't need to say suggest 5 improvement. It's going to suggest improvement based on the top 5 honest criticism it has given. So uh, here, you know the method we are using. We are using the opposite days method. Instead of to just say suggest 5 ways I can you can improve the attached resume. First, we are telling it to first criticize the resume, and then it should review the resume based on the city of London. Because one thing I've noticed is that the US have their standard way of presenting their resume. The Europe does, the UK have their own. Nigeria also have their own, though Nigeria normally follows UK, but sometimes we follow anywhere, right? Like I asked ChatGPT of recent to review my resume, and then what it does is that it was telling me that I did not have my state of origin in it, I did not have my date of birth in it, because that's the way Nigerians used to present it, and it's actually true. I've presented my, because my resume is I prepared it in a global standard way. So I have resume for the US, I have for the UK. So when he's telling me that, I just laughed because I have actually seen companies in Nigeria asking, why is your resume? There's no state of origin. You didn't put your date of birth. And I'm like, nah. No, that one actually happened to my friend anyways. Because like I said, it's not pride. There are companies I can't apply to. And they themselves know that we can't relate together. So yeah, that's basically it. So thank you. Ensure you go through this and then let me know if you have any challenges. I am always open to help you. I'm going to also share the PDF of this document so that you can have access to it. And of course, feel free to let me know if there are any issues. Okay, here's the PDF. It's ready. So see you. If you have any concern, chat me up.